Thank you for joining me today. I'm very excited to be giving this presentation to you. Can you guess how many internal systems are working for Shopee? 20? 50? Actually, it's 240. Average 3 internal projects are generated each month. If you print out all the documents created by the internal system process in 1 month, the paper will be as long as the distance from Shanghai to Beijing. Do you prefer to know the general design process of an internal system in Shopee? Please follow me. Let me give you a bit of my background. I have worked for a company for 8 years on designing internal systems. I've designed more than 50 projects covering all departments from HR, DevOps, Big Data, Cloud, Machine Learning, Anti-Fraud, User Account, Seller Center, listing, so on, and learned a lot of experience. But by the end of this presentation, you will know the process of the internal system and the minimum lead time the designers need in order to best support the product. This presentation will be divided into 4 main parts. Firstly, we will look at the discussion with PM. Then we will move on to design UI and tour. Thirdly, we will look at delivery to the product team. Finally, we will move on to checking UI for the final software launch. The most important things to take away from this presentation is the design schedule of most internal systems is very short, only 1 to 4 days. So we need a good process. This presentation will take about 6 minutes. Please hold your questions until the end of the presentation. Thank you. A standard design process of Shopee. Okay, now let's start by looking at the first point, discussion with PM. Discussion with PM, the first meeting, the PM will introduce the background of the product with PRD file. I think everyone knows what's the PRD file. Then the PM will introduce the UI flow draft. It will figure out the feeling of the vision about the product. And then we will negotiate the schedule and telling when is the next meeting time for the UI review, and provide a reasonable schedule, and provide a delivery date and design the draft. After that, we will move on to the point 2. Designers will try their best, and when we start, we will work on Figma. It is a very brand new, amazing tool. And for the component library, we will base on the Ant-Design and the React platform. When we start design, we will analyze the most important pages and the highest priority pages. We will design the pages as the basement and arrange them neatly. Then we connect them and build a very beautiful prototype that can simulate the application's operation. It makes the design looks like alive. According to the process required by PM, like click, open window, transition, etc. In the meantime, we will quickly inquire whether the design details match the PM's requirement when we confused. Then let's jump right to the point 3, delivery to the project team. After the design is completed, it's necessary to introduce the latest design to the product team. We will use the prototype to introduce the general application function and the workflow, and present some UX design a little bit different from the original PM idea, or show some solution of the pain point. Then PM will collect the suggestion and will give us feedback. After the meeting, there would be a lot of modification comments in Figma file from a product team to ensure that the modification is completed, and the designer will fix them. That's everything about delivery product to team. Finally, we will move on to the point 4. checking the final software launch. About 2 weeks before the launch of the product, designer would provide a Google Slide document, indicate the UI elements that need to be modified furthermore, with screenshots in the detailed dimensions and the data descriptions. That's everything about checking the final UI. Now, let me start wrap things up. I present to give you about a general design process of an internal system in Shopee. First, designed with the PM, then designed and with tour. Thirdly, delivered to the product team. Finally, checked the final UI for the application's release. If you remember only one thing from this presentation is the duration we design an internal system is very short, in 1 or 4 days. Only a good process can save the designers. Okay, it's question time. Now, does anyone have any questions? If there are no more questions, I will end there. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.